Hello, beautiful. Did you know that if you are dealing with a particular type of energy that keeps coming into your experience, popping into your comments or your DMs, or you keep bumping into these kinds of people in the workplace, in the world around you, in relationships? For example, if you keep finding yourself having to defend yourself from bullies, if that's the theme, if you keep finding yourself having to deal with and navigate bullies, it is an indication your outside world is mirroring to you where you're wanting to set yourself free. It's an indication that there is an unhealed wound around trauma, being traumatized, and that wound is festering with helplessness and terror and codependence, very possibly. And if it's a male, if it's predominantly the male figure that shows up in that way, then it is a wound with an archetype or an inner masculine. It could be a father wound. If you're finding yourself constantly bumping into people who are dishonest, and they betray you, and they're pretentious, and you discover too late that these people's intentions weren't good, then that is an indication of a part of you that is calling out to be healed, to be empowered, perhaps. And let's try to no longer associate healing with being broken. Healing is to make whole, to bring together all of you. It's not an indication that you are broken. Not at all. It is an indication of your readiness to fully give space to all that you are, to empower all of you, not only part of you. If you're constantly dealing with a situation where you're feeling oppressed in various scenarios and relationships, then that is an indication of a part of you that is ready to stand up. There is a wound that is festering with self-worth. Your worth being associated with other people's validation, and the need to finally set yourself free from that, because there is this re-traumatizing that is happening over and over. So I don't want to complicate this too much, but it's very, very simple. My message to you today is, if you can understand this, then you can shift your focus from trying to make people understand you, from trying to find harmony with people outside of you. We've got so many frequencies active. We've got various realities that are coming together at this time. We can consider them as a multiverse. But for the simplification of this message, I like to use the analogy of the radio station or the television, right? You've got various channels available to you, but you get to choose which one you tune into, which channel you choose, because that's the broadcast you want to receive. And you can do the same with your interactions with people. You're just finding yourself on a broadcast, in a part of reality, in a world, right, where a lot of people are a match to your wound. If you don't want to bump into those versions of them, so you can meet the version of Elif that feels to you like a bully. If you want to meet the version of Elif that exists on another frequency, in another universe, right, in another world, that shows you kindness and respect, you just have to tune into that. So this might feel like, we're taking the responsibility from everybody else and how they should behave, but you can stay there and beat the drum of how they should be as opposed to how they are. And you can also consider how much time you have spent there and whether it's worked, and whether there's been progress, or whether you've just been depleted as a result of this. It's about being kind to yourself, and me wanting to remind you that you are empowered to decide that if you don't like the vehicles that you're bumping into, and the drivers on that road and the potholes in that road, use another road. And I just want to share with you today that you can do that you have the power to do that. If you no longer want to be a match to those people that are evidence of a wound, heal the wound. And then you'll elevate. You'll move into a new reality where people are more of a match to the part of you that is evolved in that area. Part of you that is love, that respects you, that is value, that expects that from the world because you're a match to it. You're not to blame for how other people behave. But they have free will, so they get to be on that road. And you can't move them all, tell them all, you're not allowed to be on this road because I don't want to bump into you anymore, because that's their free will. But you can use a different road. And you're not here to save them anyway. They don't need a savior. This is their reality too. And they get to decide to stay where they are for as long as they want to. And you get to decide to stay there too. But just know that that is your choice and that you can make a different choice. That you don't have to feel like you've got to deal with all of this misalignment and abuse and ugly. But then it also takes courage. The courage to let go of people, places, and situations that are not a match to the health that you want, to the happiness you want. And sometimes we're not willing to do that either. But regardless, you can. I just want you to know you can.